Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Starting to hear some breaking news out of the Alabama camp as it sounds like Tyler Buchner will be getting the start as the quarterback one for the Alabama Crimson Tide on the road against USF. And I'll say this before we kind of get into why Tyler Buchner might be the guy for Alabama is this continues to be one of, if not the most impactful quarterback battles and position battles and storylines of the college football season. Yes, Alabama just lost to Texas at home. It got ugly. That being said, this Alabama team, there's still a reason why myself and many others picked Alabama to make the college football playoffs, some of them picking them to win the national title. This team is very, very talented. And if this quarterback room comes together, this is still one of the more special teams we see throughout the year. And again, that's not an SEC loss. They still have a chance to run the table, win the SEC, find their way in the college football playoffs, and especially just a year that seems to be really chaotic. I think you're going to see a lot of losses from top teams. I want to talk about what Tyler Buchner brings to this Alabama offense as kind of a Big Ten Notre Dame kind of guy. I've seen Tyler Buchner play a lot. I think he can bring a couple things that not many people think he can to this Alabama offense. Now, before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support you guys have shown the boys truly does mean a lot. Over 8,000 subscribers on the channel. That's an insane number. If you do enjoy the content, you want to support the fellas, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, the best part about doing this, talking ball with you guys in the comments section. Would love to hear what you guys think. Drop how you're feeling about Tyler Buchner, who you think should be the starting quarterback for Alabama. And without further ado, let's get into this. And I want to first kind of talk about the timeline of Tyler Buchner, because it was really interesting, right? When they go out and bring Tyler Buchner in after spring practice, those were the first kind of like sound the alarm that this quarterback situation might not be as great as many people thought, right? When they feel the need that you got Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, two highly touted guys out of the high school ranks, and they say, hey, we still don't have our guy, we don't think. We got to go get Tyler Buchner. And so that was probably the first kind of sound the alarm that this might not be great for Alabama at the quarterback position. But then you go through fall camp, and it sounds like Tyler Buchner was the clear quarterback three, and Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe were still the leaders to be the starting quarterback. And then Ty Simpson seems to have faded. We'll get into that, some question marks about his development and what's going on with Ty Simpson. Jalen Milroe wins the job. You saw against Texas, and we'll talk about this a little later, just wasn't good enough. Tyler Buchner's name emerges as the starting quarterback, and I want to dig into the meat of, like, Tyler Buchner is a very good quarterback. We haven't seen a ton of them due to injury. That being said, you talk about kind of a really good fit for what Alabama wants to do this year on the offensive side of the ball. Tyler Buchner could be that guy. Now, the first reason I want to talk about Tommy Reese and Tyler Buchner's familiarity with what Tommy Reese wants to do, and the familiarity with Tommy Reese and what Tyler Buchner is good at. I think that might be the more important relationship, right? Tommy Reese, the OC at Notre Dame, coached Tyler Buchner. I think there's a reason why Tommy Reese goes out and gets Tyler Buchner in the portal. Tommy Reese knows what Tyler Buchner is good at. He knows what makes him comfortable, and he knows what situations he needs to put Tyler Buchner in to be successful. You can't really say the same for Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. So that's probably the first optimistic thing is Tommy Reese knows Tyler Buchner better than any other coach in that room. He's going to be calling the plays. He knows what Tyler Buchner is good at. He knows the kind of throws. He knows the kind of looks Tyler Buchner is good with. And so you might want to look for Tommy Reese putting Tyler Buchner in spots that he can be successful. And I think that's a massive leg up. I mean, the number one thing you can do as an OC is make your quarterback comfortable, play to their strengths. I think Tommy Reese is in a really good spot to do that with Tyler Buchner. Now, the second thing that I think he can bring to this Alabama offense, and this is what Nick Saban talked about earlier in his press conferences, is being that point guard of the offense. At times, he said Jalen Milroe acting like, I think he said the shooting guard of the offense in terms of trying to make too many plays by himself. You look at this Alabama offense, there are so many playmakers. It's a very good offensive line, a bunch of running backs who can really get it done in the backfield. And the wide receiver room, I think, might be one of the most underrated wide receiver rooms across the country because the passing attack really hasn't gotten off the ground, at least in Texas it didn't. You have Isaiah Bond, who I think is a stud, Jermaine Burton, size, speed, working down the field, Malik Benson. There's a lot of guys that are capable in this Alabama offense at the wide receiver room, and you need your quarterback to just get them the football. I mean, we know we don't have a Bryce Young back there this year. And so you need a quarterback that leans on all the talent around him. And I think Tyler Buchner is probably the guy to do that again. Jalen Milroe, as much as he offered in terms of being a phenomenal athlete, extending plays, kind of making those jaw-dropping throws, wasn't as much of a point guard of this offense, tried to kind of make the big play happen every single time. Tyler Buchner is a guy who's experienced, who's just going to be getting the ball out quickly to the playmakers, be truly that point guard of the offense. And I think that is kind of the key in terms of finding that Alabama quarterback that's going to have the most success in this offense. Now, number 3, and this is probably arguably the most important thing Tyler Buchner is going to bring, ideally, is playing winning football. That's clean football. Nick Saban, throughout all fall camp, said we are trying to find the quarterback that just makes the fewest mistakes. So we know, again, once again, we know we don't have Bryce Young back there who's going to make those jaw-dropping plays consistently and get out of trouble. We need a quarterback that's going to hit the throws that he needs to make, not turn the ball over. And that's just what Jalen Milroe kind of failed to do against Texas, and probably why he's getting benched for Tyler Buchner. I mean, going back and looking at some of those numbers, yes, Jalen Milroe, especially pushing the ball down the field, one of the best in the country. That being said, 14 of 27, that's a 50% completion percentage. He threw 2 interceptions. That's not going to cut it. That's not winning football, especially when you're playing a team like Texas, not going to be good enough. Tyler Buchner, the idea is Tyler Buchner offers a little bit more of that clean football in terms of limiting the mistakes, making the throws you need to make. Is Tyler Buchner going to be as dynamic as Jalen Milroe, make some of those jaw-dropping throws? Absolutely not. That being said, I feel like people sleep on Tyler Buchner and the talent that he has. He was a top 100 quarterback coming out of high school, one of the more coveted guys in that class. He's talented. I think he can take care of the football a little bit better than Jalen Milroe has proven to through the first 2 games. It's probably why they're going to Tyler Buchner. And the last thing that I feel like people forget is that Tyler Buchner still gives you something in the run game. Going back to his freshman year in Notre Dame, he was used as that change of pace quarterback that can be an athlete, right? So is he as dynamic as Jalen Milroe in terms of his athleticism? Absolutely not. That being said, he still is going to keep the defense honest in terms of those read options, in terms of extending those plays. If you are not disciplined in your rush gaps, like, he's going to get outside the pocket and be dynamic. And if you want to crash, he's going to be able to keep the ball and kind of make some plays with his feet that I don't think people give Tyler Buchner enough credit for, probably just because how good Jalen Milroe was. Now, what are we looking for Tyler Buchner at USF? I'm not going to say if Tyler Buchner goes for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, like, yeah, you're going to be, that's the expectation, right? This is a USF team that Alabama should kind of handle pretty easily, but you want to see him get out there, run that offense, operate it smoothly, get the ball out of his hands quickly. That's the type of things you're looking for Tyler Buchner. Do you want to see some really nice passes pushing the ball down the field? Sure you do. But the more important thing I think, excuse me, Nick Saban, Tom, and Reese are looking for is just the operation of the offense being a little smoother than what Jalen Milroe could provide. The last thing I want to talk about, Ty Simpson, the former 5-star, it sounded like he was going to be the guy at points during fall camp, and now his name is not even being mentioned. It's Tyler Buchner. Maybe some concerns there in terms of the development. I think a lot of people expected him to take a bigger jump than he did going from his freshman to sophomore year. Again, something to monitor. But Tyler Buchner, I think a lot of Alabama fans agree that something needed to change after that Texas game, especially when it didn't sound like Jalen Milroe easily won this job in fall camp. It was kind of like, hey, you think he gives us the best chance to win, especially with his legs? We're going to throw him out there. Didn't play like he needed to against Texas. Time to switch it up a little bit. And again, if they can figure it out, they got 3 solid options. This is one of the most dangerous teams in college football. Certainly would not sleep on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Really excited to see what Tyler Buchner can do. Again, Alabama fans, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Wanted to hop on, give you guys some of my takes on what we've seen from Tyler Buchner, what we might see from Tyler Buchner coming this Saturday. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas, and we'll talk to y'all later.